When the nation's spy chief speaks publicly, plenty of people listen.
Mike Burgess, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
But the ASIO boss is concerned he's been verbaled. His remarks about desperate Palestinians fleeing war-torn Gaza used as a political weapon in Canberra. I've watched with interest over the last couple of weeks how people have chosen to distort what I said, he's told the ABC's 7:30 program.
Mike Burgess is a big boy. He can speak for himself, and he has.
Last month, the Director General was asked about security checks on around 1,300 Palestinians from Gaza who'd arrived in Australia on temporary tourist visas, and in particular whether support for Hamas would throw up red flags.
If it's just rhetorical support and they don't have an ideology or support for a violent extremism ideology, then that's not a problem.
My question is to the Prime Minister.
It fuelled a fortnight of furious opposition questioning over whether government policy and rushed vetting was putting Australians at risk. That debate now prompting Mr Burgess's response. If you think terrorism is okay, if you think the destruction of the State of Israel is okay, if you think Hamas and what they did on the 7th of October is okay, you will not pass muster.
I welcome the clarification from the Director General of ASIO.
Although not easing up.
The Prime Minister should be apologising to the ASIO boss for what they've put in place, which has made ASIO's job much harder.
The only person who's been critical of the ASIO Director General is Peter Dutton.
At least 749 Palestinians who've arrived since the war in Gaza began have now claimed asylum in Australia. Their future uncertain.
Australia provided specific pathways for Afghans fleeing the Taliban and for Ukrainians fleeing the Russians. There needs to be a special pathway for Palestinians.
Community advocates disputing any argument that security checks haven't been thorough.
To get out of Gaza, they had to get a check from Israel. They had to get a tick from Israel. They then had to get a tick from Egypt before Australia let them in.
The coalition insists it has no beef with Mike Burgess, but it certainly does with the Albanese government, and that's why it's likely there'll be more debate on this issue when Parliament returns next week. For its part, the government needs a long-term plan for the Palestinians who have arrived and now face a long legal limbo while their refugee claims are assessed. Matthew Doran, ABC News, Canberra.